Hey guys, welcome to the Phinnean podcast, where we take a fun look, a critical approach to the UAP field, sightings, abductions, testimonials, interviews, as well as video footage, analyzed through a critical lens, of course. So join us, sit back, enjoy the ride. All right, here we are once again.
Another episode.
Yes,
Welcome.
it is indeed. Welcome, everybody, and welcome to the Phinnean podcast.
Phinnean podcast, yo!
This is where we're going to take a critical approach to the UAP field and take a kind of a deeper dive into all things sort of weird and phenomenal. We're going to take a look at a couple of videos and a couple of pictures and things like that George and I have shared with each other. And this is kind of
what's on the menu. What's on the menu? What are we calling this one? Triangles galore?
Why not?
Sure.
Triangles galore will work.
Triangles galore.
I think that there's a pretty cool video that we can kind of just get right into.
Let's tease the people a little bit first. So what we're gonna do today is we're gonna explore these new triangle phenomenons, which aren't necessarily new, but have been kind of in the media lately, the current affairs, as they used to teach us in current events, as they used to teach us in grammar school. And we have some pretty interesting content to share. And we're going to start off with the famous Phoenix Lights, which let's hear these two gentlemen discuss some testimonial. And just listen to the scale of what the men are referring to.
This event called Lights Over Phoenix. What did you see?
Well, I saw a huge craft just kind of come right over a squawk.
Huge.
That was, it was just breathtaking. And I'm not sure about the date. You've got a better memory
March
for the
13th.
dates than I do. Yeah.
But there was no, like the Clinton day, no.
No. No. I was on a strict diet. No, I'm serious now. That it was unquestionably it was a UFO, which means unidentified flying object.
Right. Doesn't mean we're being visited.
Well, it's nothing like anything I've ever seen.
And you're an Air Force guy.
Yeah, and a pilot. Got a lot of hours flying. So it was pretty breathtaking.
Did it hover?
No, it was just going in a straight line.
Slow pace.
Yeah, slow pace, yeah. And then, there were all the sightings. Flares. There were the sightings of the America West plane coming into Sky Harbor, said he could have landed on it.
It was enormous.
Yeah.
Like an aircraft carrier in the sky. Is that about as close as
I think that's a fair description.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting.
Maybe it's our next generation we're working on. Who knows?
Well, we'll find out it someday.
Well, that's interesting, right? What he said at the end, something that we're working on. So what's your take? Are you familiar with the story of the Phoenix Lights?
I am familiar with it. I got to be honest with you. It's not really something that I really, dove into, where I had seen it in the past, and it just, it's these triangle-shaped UFOs, which is, I guess, out of everything that I've kind of been hanging on to or latching onto that I felt close to in the field. You research things that are kind of, either around you or that maybe you've experienced, stuff like that. It's one of those things in my head that I was just like, oh, triangle UFOs don't make sense to me, whatever, just because it's never been sort of in my space, right? So
right.
I'm flipping it back to you. This may be something where you kind of saw it was, hey, that's a good shape for a UFO for you.
Well, what I find interesting is, the common phenomenon is to see these disc shapes.
Yeah.
We did our Uamua episode where it was the cigar shape, and that kind of opened the doors for, hey, there's these vessels or whatever that, they come in all shapes and forms. But what I find interesting about the Phoenix Lights is that the amount of testimonial and the amount of witnesses that saw this in the sky is pretty phenomenal. In the sense that the scale of the amount of people, it's a little unprecedented, which to me is interesting. I also like the fact, or I find interesting the fact on the scale, that the governor, I don't know if it's the governor at the time or whatever, but he also being in the Air Force, that the scale was interesting that he commented on it. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to show another. Let's take the crowd to our next video.
Yep.
Of some pretty intriguing. I mean.
So this is getting into another triangle, which I would say is
that's a triangle, right?
Is a much more modern version of this with a video, which is pretty intense.
Can we all agree that's a triangle, though?
Yes, indeed.
I think so.
Indeed, and when you sent this to me, I fell out of my chair. So for the first time, I can't really,
I mean, look at that thing.
put much.
Looks
else.
pretty big. I mean. It's hard to tell because there's no
in the clouds.
Yeah, there's no
hanging out, patrolling, doing whatever it may be doing.
What is going on here? There's no point of reference to actually be able to tell how big or small it is, but let's assume that is not tiny. So, and if you're familiar, again with the Phoenix Lights. What we have next to show you is a photograph that was captured of the event,
which is just nuts.
Yeah.
That this thing, if somebody got a photo like that, it's kind of like,
So this is in the daytime, right? But the Phoenix Lights event happened in the evening. There's actually a really good movie. Can't remember who's in it, but about the Phoenix Lights that's done pretty well about these guys that go in a mobile home and or an RV, I guess, and they get stranded out there, and then look how that thing moves. I mean, the way can you pull that back a little bit? Can you rewind on that? How it moved?
Move this out of the way.
Can you just pull that back?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's perfect. So there's a really good movie if you guys are interested. I'll find the name and we'll put it in the link.
We'll follow up and we'll put some links.
But watch how this thing zigs right now.
Video. I mean, the maneuvering of these things are just out of this world.
It's definitely not man-made, right? So.
Yeah, it's almost like I was spotted. Let me step to the left like Jeff in an instant, a little quicker than an instant maybe, but. That's kind of cool how that thing just sort of levels out on a plane there, and it's, I know you're saying there's no frame of reference there. It's almost like that cloud, and it, the more that we're looking at these things and these pictures, they're always sort of hiding or utilizing the clouds to some extent, to take cover,
Yeah, look right there.
It's got to be from our eye or from a camera or any sort of.
Sure.
Surveillance, if you would.
Whoever was maneuvering that ship got fired the next day because they didn't do a very good job at hiding.
They missed this camera, whoever had that.
Oh, and then boom. You heard the guy scream? Look at that. Crazy, right?
That is nuts.
Let's see it one more time.
That is nuts. My God.
So the next, so there are photos captured of the real event. So what we just saw is not related to the Phoenix Lights. However, there is this triangular shape that we're exploring, and if you take a look at the photographs that we're taking of the Phoenix Lights, there's video available as well, but if you could pull up the photo, you'll see.
So I'm gonna go.
You'll see that the next one.
Yeah.
You'll see that the shape is, there's a coincidence here. Where that, and if you can toggle to the next one and kind of back and forth.
This is another shot, kind of like
this is what everyone saw. This is the 1997 event. It was the Phoenix Lights, and if you just click to the next one real quick, we can come back to this one. No, after. Okay. There's the simulation, and what shape is that right there?
That's a triangle, buddy.
That is a triangle. So can we go back to the?
My mind,
can we? So this is a simulation. This is someone simulated, but here is the real shot, and there it is. It's like this big wing, and the thing is gigantic.
And so many people in Phoenix saw this thing, and supposedly it just came in a low, just like calm
and it
pace,
stayed for a while,
and just kind of rolled over town. And I think that this may have been one of the largest UFO sightings of all time. Like the amount of people.
I think so.
Once.
I think it's unprecedented the amount of people that saw this at one time.
You know, so some pretty crazy stats on this too, guys. You know, and I mean, we'll send these links in. Also, you know, we can pop them on our website too for people to kind of check them out themselves.
Yeah, and what's interesting is if you Google or go on any kind of platform and type in Phoenix Lights, you will see an endless amount of different perspectives of these videos. And what's interesting is like they're still there. No one's taking them down, you know, and you ask yourself why. Why do they let this stuff stay there? So
yeah,
it's an interesting, it's something to ponder.
Yeah, because there's so many photos that are out there of different shapes and different types of UFOs, and then somebody sort of pick and chose what gets to stay on the internet.
Right.
And
well, this
so
can't be
on.
denied because there's
right.
so many people that have seen it that, you know, it cannot be denied.
It would almost be, it's like the opposite of, you know, it would cause hysteria if they didn't allow it on with the amount of people that saw it, right? It's like, okay, you have to kind of give this one back.
That's a good
it's like
point.
It's almost like we lost this one, guys. Let's just throw it out there, and now they know there are triangles as well, kind of thing, you know. And just like, hey, there are different races and things like that amongst different
course.
breeds of, you know, animals, creatures, beings, humans. We are
It's like Star Trek.
our own, but
They were onto
there are
something.
different types of trajectory and shapes and ships apparently, as we are learning. So wild stuff. So some cool stuff to look at there, right?
So let's see, as we
Moving
segue,
on.
what's the next? I forgot what's next.
That was
Oh, of course. So here,
So this is kind of cool.
So
I enjoy this because, as I had kind of explained to you, that you know, I remember a couple of years back, sort of, where I was kind of explaining to my wife that there's this sort of like energy field out there, and there's just, I can't really explain it, honey, but there's, you know, this really positive energy that I have sort of tapped in over time, and I really feel that it's kind of right there. And she's like, well, what do you mean it's right there? Well, I said, I feel like there's almost like an entire, you know, an array of like ships out there that are kind of watching over us and just watching over the earth, and I just kind of feel this sort of presence there, and I'm like, it's very positive and it's very good, but I don't think that it's allowed to come down here and really do anything or affect us or anything like that. But I really do feel that it's sort of something that we can all tap into if you're just sort of open to it. And that was maybe just a few months before I had gone out to Montauk with her. And I think we all know kind of what happened. If you guys have followed,
we all don't know, but we will all find out soon.
that there was
Stay tuned.
you know, a sighting that happened out in Montauk where that kind of was life-changing for me, because that was something that was beyond tangible, and I took a video of that, sort of changed our lives and perspective on things for good. So that's kind of pushed us into this really good direction, and you know, with no further ado, I'm going to go to what we've now found in this video. And again, where I fall out of my chair when you start sending me some things here and there is that, holy shit, this is exactly what I was talking about. And you're like, you might be right onto something, because
well, this is it, right? When you're saying
Armada.
when you're saying that they're trying to come in and there's something preventing them from coming in. Well, I mean, this is a famous video that I'm sure a lot of people have seen, but it's very grainy because it's not new, so we'll have to kind of pay attention. And
So wild.
this is from 91.
September 15th.
And what you will see is you saw that flashing light. Okay. I don't know if you saw that. We're going to see it again, but there was a spacecraft flying into our atmosphere, a flash of light,
Right there.
a flash of light, which is assumed to be a Earth weapon shooting at the vessel, and the vessel basically does a 180 and turns right the back fuck around.
Flips around, no problem.
You see it, right?
On a dime.
On a dime, turns around. It sees the flash, recognizes we are not wanted, we are not welcomed, and it turns the fuck around and goes right back to where it was coming from. Pretty crazy, right? So,
It's unbelievable footage.
so I've seen this. You know, I saw this a long time ago. It was interesting to me, you know, out of context. But what I find very, very curious is all of this information that's come out very recently. I don't know, within the last month, about the Pentagon releasing that footage of their Navy ship being circled by the Triangle spacecrafts.
Yeah.
And
Talk about
what does that look
the
like?
Nimitz,
What shape
the
does that
Nimitz
look like right there?
Right. That's a triangle.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, the coincidences are, there are no coincidences, as you always say, right?
Yeah.
So, we have the Pentagon releasing this information that our Navy ships, I don't know, it was like 90 minutes of these things hovering over the ship. We have this video from 1991 of a triangle vessel, ship, UFO, whatever you want to call it, trying to come into our atmosphere and doing a 180 when a missile gets shot from the Earth. I mean, what do you think about this when you see this?
I mean, I think that, that there may be a lot more advancements here that we have kind of originally been told, because I think we've been told nothing. I think over time you kind of hear that there's these, Star Wars programs, and there's there's a government program that, maybe Reagan had kind of started and gotten involved in, and, we've put some tax dollars against this thing, and it's called Star Wars, right? And stuff like that. So I got to kind of take my head back to the 80s a little bit there,
sure,
on kind of what we know and knew back then, which wasn't much, but it's like, okay, there's a Star Wars program. I don't really know that the news was going to cover much more than that years later, but I do recall that from its inception. And I remember Reagan, making a big deal about that and making sure that we were spending the right amount of money and stuff like that, creating this thing, whatever it may be.
Well, that was supposed to be used for nuclear prevention.
Whatever it was labeled as, it was labeled
Sold
as.
to
But
us.
I firmly believe that there was either a known presence or a known thing that we needed to protect ourselves from things coming into our atmosphere. And I'm pretty sure that they have set up a pretty elaborate, missile system, because that's going outside of our atmosphere there.
Totally.
And that's not within the Earth's atmosphere. So, I think that has really been advanced since then. We're talking 30, plus years later, and that's what I think.
Well, think about
really
this.
happened there.
You
And
mentioned Reagan. Are you familiar with Reagan's famous speech when he mentions about aliens? Have you ever seen that speech?
I remember the speech of when he said that, can you imagine if it really was an alien, whether it's invasion or something like that, that actually was a threat to us, what it would actually do to this planet, and actually what we would be doing with each other rather than competing with each other or taking sides or being swayed versus one thing that's better than the other.
Or uniting.
And how we would come together. Can
Right.
you imagine how beautiful that would be? And you know what? Rest in peace, Ron. We miss you. 'Cause we could use you today.
So then it's interesting you bring up Ronald Reagan and his and that speech, how it aligns with the what was it called again, the space thing, the
It was Star Wars.
Star Wars
was the name of it.
And now we have
Fitting.
what is it? Now we have a fifth branch of the military,
We do.
which is called what?
We do. So the fifth branch
A Space Force.
is called our Space Force, man.
Space Force.
Which is it's so. It's wild how it's not necessarily a media component to this. It's just right on Netflix. Out comes Space Force, the funny version of this, and I think I watched an episode or two. Steve Carell was in it and stuff like that, and it's kind of like Hollywood making sort of a joke out of it, but it's real, and it's like one of those things. It's just like it kind of gets away from the stigma because they've made fun of it already.
Sure. Well,
so it's almost like you don't have time to think and say that this could be something or it's tied to that,
Totally.
regardless of what's coming out there. While all of a sudden you're being hand delivered that it's all bullshit. And here's a comedian.
But hold on, the
you.
other angle as well, right? Is that they're going to attach humor to it and satire. But what I find more interesting is that despite what we went through these past 4 years and the division of this country,
Yeah.
Space Force is one thing that they don't argue about. Think about that.
Both
They are supporting Space
sides.
Force. So there's something there
Over
that
shoulders.
these guys know that the rest of us don't know yet, right? But the
Yep.
fact that we have the Space Force and the Pentagon is releasing these papers and making the information, they're preparing us for what we've all, or some of us or most of us, already we've been ready for this, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like what's happening.
Yeah.
So it's kind of interesting, that you see this battle, or call it whatever you want, this defense, and that we have this Star Wars program, and we have the Space Force program, and what's going to happen next, Let's see what happens next.
It's like what gets seen completely by mistake, and you're gonna have to kind of circumvent it with a little bit of a cover-up / story / hey, here's why it's not real, but keep the faith, everybody, and off we go. But no further ado, let's get.
What's
on
next?
to
Let's
the
see.
next. Let's.
So here we go. Right.
So this is pretty cool. So I'm gonna flip.
So over here, let's talking about the Pentagon. Yeah. Here is the
Tim McMillan. I told you I followed him a bit. There's a couple of the podcasts out there that kind of got me started back in 2018, 17 actually. I think he has one. It's called Unknown. But just some really big guys in the space here. From George Knapp, who released this one about the sphere. And it's kind of cool seeing a lot of these names pop up here, where it's just.
Well, these are all the different shapes that we started talking about, right?
Yeah.
I mean, these pyramids, these triangles. Everyone used to. So here's
your pyramid.
This is what just came out the other day. I mean, this footage, this is released for public consumption, no secrets. This is public knowledge.
And a lot of these you've seen even
from
on the
our
news,
government,
guys. So we're giving you a little bit of an extension of that.
And this is the recorded footage from our Navy. And I believe these guys were flying around up above for a good 90 minutes. And what shape is that again? Bubby.
Your new favorite
triangle.
So wow.
So yeah, hit the next one. So, just in case, there it is. Pentagon confirms video of pyramid UFO stalking the warship is real.
Yeah.
This is not fake news. This is real stuff.
Yeah.
And then the next video, we can go to the next one, and you guys listen. Hold on to your hats. Believe what you want to believe. But my sources tell me that this is real.
I mean, this is on the ground. Look at the traces. See what it's picking up.
Remember the tracer videos I sent you?
Yeah.
That we haven't shared with anyone yet?
50 cal?
Remember?
Unreal, man.
Did you see it right just now again?
Yeah.
What the fuck are we shooting
Where
at?
is this?
I don't know, man. It's night vision, military, Pentagon. What's that thing? Bye-bye. We're gonna get out of here.
That looks like one of the Vulcan ships, doesn't it?
It does. But that could be us. We don't know.
Right.
That could be us, man. You want to show it again? Hit it again?
Wow.
So, the beginning of the video kind of says it all. And, can you hit this?
Yeah. A little bit
I mean, what are we watching? They are lighting some shit on fire, man. Here comes the 50 cal in the sky. Sick, huh?
Yeah, I wish I want that other video of it, like chasing that one UFO where the guy gets on it with the 50 cal. I mean, he pops the thing. I mean, holy shit. I would love to know where this is, because there's a lot of remnants, man. It's like you want UFO footage is one thing, but there's scraps. There's proof.
I mean, there's some shit going on, man.
Wow.
So
some pretty wild stuff here, ladies and gents. And this ending here to this ship, George has sprung this one on me. This is brand new, and my God. I mean, if this is not tell on what's up there, Holy shit.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
What kind of propulsion was
but
thing using, right?
Yeah,
It looked like it was moving.
It's something. I think, listen, some of this could be man-made, I mean, like, look, when theater, what's that Mark Twain saying? When hit the play on this?
You want me to just go right into this?
No, just hit play. When reality, what is it? Fiction follows, when life follows fiction. I mean, this is what we're living right now. Hit the play.
So this is wild. This is Star Wars, I guess, if they're filming, and I guess, I don't know if
I mean, this is photo montage, definitely, but I mean, this is where we're going to be soon, man.
It's just showing you.
I mean, look.
A little close to home there, what we just saw, which could be the reality.
This is Putin putting some shit together already.
Look at that.
They know what's up.
Oh my God. It's unreal, man.
Oh, man.
Wild stuff.
So, it's interesting.
That was the last one, right?
No, there's one more. So, in closing, let's not get too into the weeds on what's real and what's not, because we never know, right? Could be our own people playing tricks on us, and if you hit the next one, they the schematics right here of something that looks like a triangle, and that's definitely, those are humans surrounding that vessel. So
so this picture is just wild, man. I mean, I love the way that it kind of just gives you a breakdown of it and tells you the whole kit and caboodle on how this thing,
nuclear
power,
power
maneuver, and it's got a nuclear power source in it, and what shape is that though?
I don't know, dude. It looks like a triangle. I'm not sure.
USAF top secret nuclear
I'm
powered
not
triangle.
good with my shapes.
It's the TR-3B. I wonder what 1 and 2 look like.
Yeah,
I mean,
one was probably over
Not a
Phoenix
prototype.
in 1997 or whatever the fuck.
Right. It was probably like, hey, we got to launch this thing. We got to get it up out of the ground and over there. Sorry, everybody, but
get your phones ready. Get your cameras ready.
No shit. But wow. So some pretty cool stuff here, guys, and I guess we're gonna. I know you tried to push that screen. I guess we're gonna, put some more links up so that maybe you can kind of take a peek at these latest videos and photos and fun stuff like that. And
we'll put these all up on the website. Let's try and get these for the people so they can kind of look at it at their own pace.
Absolutely.
If you guys have any insight or anything you can add, or you want to argue, that's what the platform's here for. We're interested in
we're ready for the abuse.
Yeah.
Fire away. But that's kind of what the platform on our website is sort of set up for. It's kind of like, hey, reach out to us and let's start a conversation about it, and please share some insight. I mean, every and all comments are welcome. And off we kind of go into the sunrise here, rather, and I guess we'll kind of bring this episode down.
And we're gonna bring more good stuff. We have a lot of interesting episodes lined up.
We do indeed.
There's going to be
I'm a little nervous about the next episode because George has another surprise for me, but I guess he's going to keep that cat in the bag for now. He's better than me at that, because some things I just can't wait to show, but I get a little bit excited.
I prefer to reveal it on the show rather than on the streets.
No doubt.
You know what I'm saying?
I hear that.
All right, bro. All right. That's a good one.
Always good,
Peace
man.
out.
Always good.
And what do we say? Always remember.
Don't forget to look up, baby.
Look up.
Cheers, everybody.
Peace.